how you doing, man? How was your weekend? Oh, my weekend was good. My little 3-year-old, just learned how to walk, and I think we're going to be out of diapers soon. I'm really excited. Yeah, man, great. Well, what's on your desk? Oh, well, I got this letter here over the weekend from the Secretary of Treasury, and that's there, and off we go. And off we go. Oh, that's nice. So you get the letter to Secretary of Treasury. So he says, well, hey, yeah, great. Could you, do you have that, like, electronically? Yeah, I do. Could you, like, send it over so I could read it too? Hesitation. Yeah. Okay. So he sends it over. Before he's home. And then he talks to his editor. I mean, what do we do? Do we run it out? Do we never talk to that guy again? You ever find out whether the kid got out of diapers? Right? What do we do? What do we do? Editor discussion with editor. Well, it's clear that the Secretary of Treasury wants the Congress to do this because of what I read in the letter. Okay, so once you call up the House Treasury Committee and this particular program, I'm making this stuff up, the targeted assets, the TARP program, the TARP rewrite. Okay, Secretary of Treasury has written a letter to the House Ways and Means Committee about rewriting the TARP bill. Okay, and it's going to be called the TARP rewrite exercise program. So the TRE, the TREEP. Okay, and so it's written in this letter. Okay. So we call up the House Ways and Means Committee, not really letting them know that we got a Treasury letter, but hi, I'm John Grano, and I'm a reporter for Inside Washington, and I want to, I understand that the Secretary of Treasury is proposing something called the TREEP program, and I'd like to get some more information about what your view is on that. Dead silence on the other end of the phone. Okay, how does this guy know the TREEP program? It's a secretary. What is going on? That's top secret. No one's supposed to know about this. What do I do? You hear that good dead silence on the phone. It's like, what do I say? Now we're rolling. Now we're rolling. Okay. So off we go, and and lo and behold, whereas you would get a press person saying no comment if you were just asking about, gee, how's it going on the TARP program? Well, nothing's going on. Nothing. No, there's no. These aren't the droids you're looking for. You're suddenly saying, well, what about the TREEP program? TREEP, you said the magic, you said open sesame. And suddenly, an hour later, you're talking to the chairman of the committee. What do you know about the TREEP program? Well, I just heard. How'd you hear it? I'm a reporter. And off you go. And that's a discussion with the editor, bringing the reader somewhere, okay, protecting the source. So now oftentimes even the having of this letter, I'm not this isn't a rule, okay, it's often just that this guy is so high up and you're so working with this guy and you are friends with him, okay, that he's forgotten you're a reporter. I mean, I've had that happen so many times. The guy just forgets, I'm just a guy now, I'm just part of this, because I've given him as many letters as he's given me over the years. We've got a working relationship. He asks me what's on my desk, and I ask him what's on his desk. Okay, so we're flipping information back where he's forgotten. It was 6 years ago that he thought I was a reporter. It's John. John's on the phone. What does he have? I mean, you always as a reporter, you want a Pavlovian response from your source. He hears your name. He says, geez, he's got something. What does he have? You want him to have that response. What does he have? I need to get John on the phone, because John's a bringer of gifts. Mm-hmm. Okay, John's been bringing me gifts for years. Knows my wife. Go out, and I'm not saying you have to do that with every source. I mean, I'm not arguing for artificial relationships here. I'm saying sometimes that happens. Okay, but he's long ago forgotten I was a reporter, so he is definitely capable of giving me something that could get him fired in a nanosecond. Okay? I got to have that discussion with my editor about saving. I mean, he is so far gone. He is so vulnerable at that point that unless these two guys are really watching out for him, he's toast. He is toast. That's investigative reporting. I mean, that's what you want. You want him to forget your report. But then you better protect him. You just better protect him because, you know, you want that little girl to go out of diapers and end up going to a nice school and you know, getting into college. Not that, you know, I'm now getting overly dramatic, which I like to do, but I'm saying you know, he's walked away from protecting himself and he's trusting you. That's what he's done.
Can it be hard to protect your source sometimes when people are prying like information from you and wanting to know your source?
Yes.
How do you handle it?
Go to jail. Maybe. That often doesn't happen, and believe me, if you get to go to jail as an investigative reporter, your career is made for the rest of your life. It's not the same kind of stigma that most criminals have. It's a reverse stigma. It's it's second to the Pulitzer Prize. Going to jail and protecting your sources is the most career enhancing event that you can have in your career. So don't worry about me. The day you go to jail, you know, I'll call you up. You know, I'll say congratulations, you've made it to the elite. But if you're reading for me that I'm struggling to not overemphasize the importance of protecting your source, you are reading correctly. I'm pretty serious about this. And this is supposed to be a class on investigative reporters, investigative reporting. So this is the moment of silence with respect to the somberness of the trust involved in your job, okay? And I do want you to take this absolutely seriously. To the degree that you want to move this plan around, okay, that's the degree you have to start to commit to protecting the trust given to you by a source, okay? And I'm not joking. You don't want to protect him. You're not going to move that plan. It's part of the job. Yes.
I'm assuming you don't mention some sensitive things to your family and life. Just between you and your editor, even between other fellow reporters as well.
Whatever it takes to protect a person. My wife's a journalist too, so we actually do discuss. You know, I am never going to stand here and counsel you to keep something from your spouse. Okay.
So, like, what percentage of your sources would you say is kind of like very sensitive level?
Oh, one in that at that level, 1 in 20, 1 in these are gems. These are gems, but there's certain versions. I'm describing the sort of the ultimate source, situation here to illustrate what you want to shoot for.
Mm-hmm.
But most of your sources fall. You guys have sources that this isn't unusual stuff that I'm describing. There's some people in that category that you trust, and they trust you, and they can give you some perspective and guide you through. I am not a believer. Whereas I was making that argument that it's half plumbing and half high order academics. I'm never comfortable thinking of myself as an expert. I'm much more comfortable thinking of myself as a person who can be smart enough to ask an expert a really truth-giving, a really good question, the kind of question that helps the plan. That's the only thing I ever aspire to. I do not. I'm increasingly uncomfortable with all the talking heads. I mean, I think it was part of the downfall of the golden age of journalism when journalists figured out that they could interview other journalists and it would make good TV. Okay, which is a common practice now. The reporter in Tehran. Well, let's go to the reporter in Tehran, and the reporter talks. This is I don't know. It's just part of the golden age of journalism is going away. It inspires. How tempting is that personality who's now giving you the world's narrative to tell you what they think. You know, you're just on the slippery slope. You're just on the slippery slope. I'm my company. One of the big battles in our company over time was bylines. We generally do not believe in bylines. Isn't that crazy? Because of this, I'm an old school reporter, and it's the publication that's supposed to be credible or not. And I then initiated bylines in our defense field because it was absolutely necessary to build sources, because in the defense field they have this love-hate relationship with the press, and they really do love or hate certain reporters. And they don't just love the reporters who just tell the world the way they'd like it to be. They actually respect reporters who are good. They're actually journalism groupies. I mean, they really do understand really good journalism. They take many more courses in journalism than most of the reporters that I hire. You know, they've studied journalism. You know, they could teach this course. You know, they're very, very good at it, and they know the difference between a good journalist and a bad journalist. And so, therefore, that's where we started to put our names on reporters, put our names on stories, because Donna Hazley, she's a good guy. You know, she's a good. I respect her. Let her in. So it increased our access. Reporter identity increased our access. So I did it. So it's kind of spread to the rest of the company because people love to do things. But generally speaking, I'm not a celebrity. As I said before, I'm a pre-Watergate trained journalist. And there really is a difference. And unfortunately, we're somewhat of a dying breed now. Although we're not all that old, we're just being overwhelmed by celebrity journalism.
So you're saying that the post-Watergate is celebrity journalism?
Yeah.
Where it's not for the publication, but for the individual status?
Yeah, look what Woodward and Bernstein did.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Woodward and Bernstein's politics are the most influential part of their journalism right now. I mean, they were reporters. They weren't even national reporters. They were city beat reporters. They hadn't even made it to the national desk. They just had a break-in that they were covering that turned out to be connected to the White House. So,
is this at all linked to the financial model of a newspaper, where, because if journalists these days, if the publication is not doing well, then they would have to go either do freelance or build some kind of credibility that they would be hired. So would it?
I think it's. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm a little overemphasizing. I mean, there's always been celebrity journalists. You know, Walter Cronkite.